there's 450,000 behind me just sowing some sunflowers or sowing some wheat that's worth £150 a tonne. I'm Olly Harrison and I call myself an accidental YouTuber because we farm, and during COVID I started doing videos of what was happening on the farm every day, and it's kind of grown. I think it's 5 and a bit years later I'm still doing a video every day what we're doing on the farm. There is no typical day in farming. In the last few weeks it's been quite dry, so it's been a little bit relaxed. We've caught up with spring work. We're just waiting and praying for rain. We've been doing a bit of maintenance. Well, I don't know, you probably call it property maintenance on some of the farmhouses. We've been painting windows, we've been fixing potholes, we've been putting fences up, and today we're drilling sunflowers. Where do you start? The weather's number one, because there's nothing we can do about that. Number two is probably at the moment the political landscape, and number three would be commodity prices. They're just, input prices are out of control and commodity prices are on the floor at the moment. The only sector at the moment that's doing okay is the beef job, really. But for arable, the economics don't add up in the UK at the moment. It actually started as a joke. I did some filming for the BBC on the first day of lockdown, and they wanted me to film something with my phone because they couldn't get in the tractor cab with me, and we were drilling wheat that day, and I filmed it and I felt an absolute wally talking to my phone, and I sent them the footage, and because phones have evolved so much, they were like, "Oh, boss won't believe you filmed that yourself." So they used it in this news segment that day, and as a joke the next day I just made a little video about what I was doing on the farm. People watched it and people enjoyed it. Gone on and on and on now to I don't know, every time there's some sort of news story happening, everyone wants my opinion on it, which is a bit weird. Just recently with all the inheritance tax thing that's been going on, everyone thinks that we're really wealthy, and look at it on paper you could say we are, but most farmers are living below the minimum wage. They've got to do a lot of diversification just to stay in business. Do you call it diversification, or do you call it throwing good money after bad? What drives the initiatives of the protest? Necessity, really. So the first one was driven by the fact that the NFU had arranged to do something in London, and there was far more farmers that could go, that could fit. So a few of us got together and did like something to fit 45,000 farmers in. That was the first one. The second one, we realised that businesses were also affected, so we did a summit in the London Palladium. And because it was December, we didn't want to be doing it outside in the rain, so it's a massive press conference really to talk about the impacts of that. We did one on Pancake Day because the figures are completely wrong. You could £1 million exempt and all this. Well, they don't realise the level of investment. I mean, there's 450,000 behind me just sowing some sunflowers or sowing some wheat that's worth £150 a tonne, and it was just to say, look, this is the level of investment we have in agriculture just to make a tiny profit, if ever there is one. I mean, last year we lost money because of the weather. It looks like we will this year. It's not rained. So we wanted to explain that a pancake costs pence, but it actually, you need £1 million worth of kit to produce that without the cost of the farmland and the building and the infrastructure. I think what you always need to do is buy the best you can afford, and a lot of people say, oh, why do you say buy British when you've got a lot of the machinery can be made in Germany, say, or foreign machinery? And it's basically buy the best you can afford, and if it's food, it's UK, because we have the highest standards in the world, and that's the best really. If you wanted to buy something that's spent a lot of time on a truck or a boat coming from wherever, then it's not going to be much good, is it? Especially if it's fresh produce. British food's the best you can get. I think it was Eisenhower said it was every day, 3 times a day you need a farmer. Once in your life you might need a doctor, once in your life you might need a lawyer, but every day, 3 times a day you need a farmer.